Hey guys, so the Direct Medico is back with the third part of physiology of respiration, and this was going to be the complete video regarding the surfactant and why the surfactant is produced and how it is able to manage the collapsing nature of alveoli. So firstly, in this video we'll discuss the microanatomy of alveoli, which is the main basic point of lung, and then we'll also discuss the histological distribution of cells in the respiratory pathway, the anatomical dead space and all. And then we'll also discuss why there is collapsing nature of alveoli, and what are the compositions of the surfactant and how the surfactant will overcome this particular collapsing nature of alveoli. And then finally, as we all know, the final clinical aspect, and through this clinical aspect I'll be explaining different things which are related with this surfactant. Okay, so let's go for the physiology of respiration part 3. So let's go. I'm so sorry for the delay of the third part. So from now the parts will be a bit faster, and you will be having for every week for sure. So let's go for the microanatomy of lung. That is basically the microanatomy of lung. Microanatomy of lung, we actually have here the pneumocyte 1 and pneumocyte 2. So pneumocyte 1 and pneumocyte 2 has a capability to proliferate into pneumocyte 1, and this happens in acute lung damage. So, and also I want to just say this numericals of pneumocytes 1 are about 95 to 97%, and pneumocytes 2 are 5 to 3%, and this goes. And also we have club cells or Clara cells, and these cells have their own function in detoxifying the cells, and detoxifying the debris. And also we have macrophages. So these are the macrophages, and these clear the debris by the functions of macrophages, which we also will discuss further in the blood physiology. So for now, the pneumocytes 1 are squamous cells. So these pneumocyte 1 are squamous cells, and pneumocytes 2 are cuboidal cells. And as you know, as I mentioned here, acute lung damage. During this acute lung damage, there will be proliferation of pneumocytes 2 into the pneumocytes 1. And we also know this thing that pneumocytes 1 are the squamous cells which are responsible for the the air water interface and also the blood air interface. So now we'll discuss let me just say you what are the histological distribution in the respiratory pathway. So let me just say you this. There is a respiratory pathway. In the respiratory pathway, we have two different histological patterns. That is stratified squamous epithelium or pseudo-stratified columnar cells. So this pseudo-stratified columnar cells need to be focused in a big way. That is the pseudo-stratified columnar cells. The pseudo-stratified columnar cells are lining the nose, nasopharynx, and also paranasal sinuses. And this paranasal sinuses, and we also have tracheobronchial tree. So these are lined by pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium, and stratified squamous epithelium is lined by the larynx, orolarynx, and also we have the vocal cords. Everything are lined by the stratified squamous epithelium. But coming to the nose, nasopharynx, and paranasal sinuses, and also the tracheobronchial tree, these are completely lined by the pseudo-stratified columnar cells. So these pseudo-stratified columnar cells have a very high efficiency of converting they are highly efficient in converting it. It has two efficiency works, which are the filtration and making the conditioning of air. So this efficiency of pseudo-stratified columnar cells is making, let me just correlate with one histopathological findings. That is the histopathological findings. There is there is a survey which they did conduct, in which they did the patients of tracheostomy, long-term tracheostomy patients are being given a heat moisture exchanger. So this heat moisture exchanger, the histopathological findings of the in the long-term tracheostomy patients, the heat moisture exchanger had given the conditioning and the filtration work less efficient. The efficiency of upper half or the upper conducting system, that is lined by pseudo-stratified columnar cells, since this pseudo-stratified columnar cells which have been the efficiency of conducting the pathway is more efficient as compared with this conditioning of heat moisture exchange. So from this we can conclude that the pseudo-stratified columnar cells in the respiratory pathway of nose, nasopharynx, and nasal sinuses, the paranasal sinuses, and also the tracheobronchial tree, is giving an idea that they are more efficient in working, and also and this makes the efficiency. This shows the efficiency in the pseudo-stratified columnar cells. So this is the histological differences in the respiratory pathway. And stratified, as I already said, they are present in the oropharynx oropharynx and larynx, and also the vocal cords, and also the epiglottal region. So now let's go with the why there is a collapsing nature in the alveoli. So let me just make this thing that this is the water interface. So these are the squamous cells that are the pneumocyte 1, and these pneumocytes 1, as we already know, they form a air water interface. So this is air water interface. So now let's go for the the air water interface. Let's see what's happening in this air water interface. So let's go and magnify this. So this, now we can just see, these are the cells, these are the water molecules present directly on the cell, and these are the water molecules present on the interface of the cell. So now let me just say you one thing clearly, that these cells which are in the, let me just define this 2 into, these are the air water interface, air water surface molecules, and these are air water interface bulk flow. So this gives an idea of air water interface of surface molecules are not having attractions from all the sides. So this is the attraction from all the sides is making the bulk flow water molecules to be stable. So this stableness of the water molecules which are present in the bulk flow is having attraction from all the sides. But when you just see the attraction of the air water interface surface molecules, these molecules have sideward attraction and downward attraction, but there is no attraction from the upper molecules. There is no upper molecule. So there is no attraction from the upper side, which is making the attraction of the surface molecules to down, like they are attracted towards the downside. So this makes, let me show you in a big diagram. So this makes the water to go deep into the deep layers, and this is the So this is giving the particular nature of the nature of the surface molecules. So this develops a tension. So this develops a tension on the surface of the alveoli, so of the water molecules, and this surface tension is have this surface tension would make the the surface wants to get reduced in its size, and the alveoli wants to collapse. So this collapsing nature of alveoli is called atelectasis. So this atelectasis is a condition in which the collapse, this is the condition in which the alveoli will be collapsed. And now let's go, just see what's happening, what to do. And let me say one more, there is a pressure which is called collapsing pressure. This pressure which we need to put under to maintain the alveoli to not to collapse. Let just listen once more. There is a pressure which will this pressure would not let the alveoli collapse. So this pressure is called collapsing pressure of alveoli. So this collapsing pressure of alveoli need to be maintained to not to collapse the alveoli and for the normal functioning of respiration. And this will be overcome with the surfactant. So here we have surfactant. And what is this surfactant? Surfactant is nothing but composition is, and what's the main function of surfactant? The surfactants need to reduce the surface tension. This is the main function of the surface tension. And why do we need to reduce the surface tension? Just because we can't maintain this collapsing, if the collapsing nature, the collapsing pressure is being increased every time, then we need to maintain the pressure in the alveoli with the collapsing pressure, which is a bit tough for us, or which is not normal, or which is the dysfunction of our alveoli. So to maintain that, we have a condition, or we have the surfactant which is having the composition as phospholipids. Just let me let's derive the name from the diagram. See, this is palmitoyl. These wings are palmitoyl, and this P is let me just make it more clear, palmi. So this palmi are the wings of this particular insect which I have drawn for the easy understanding, and this is phosphodiol, and this is choline. So dipalmityl phosphodiol choline. So this dipalmityl phosphodiol choline is the main ingredient or main thing in the phospholipids. And as you know, the lipids are not soluble in water. This is the hydrophobic region, and this is hydrophilic region. So this hydrophobic region, now just see, let's and let me say one more thing. Let's see how the surfactant or this particular dipalmityl DPPC, this is being derived, or how it is being achieved in the alveoli. These pneumocytes too have the laminar bodies, and these laminar bodies on the exocytosis forms the tubular myelin. So this tubular myelin is formed by thousands of DPPC, that is the dipalmityl phosphodiol choline. So this, and now let's see how this dipalmityl and DPPM is being achieving the surface tension to reduce. Let's see this. So these wings and the head are the hydrophobic regions which are not soluble on water. Okay, so let's see this, how it's been happening. So this is the head, and these are the wings, and these are the apoproteins. These are A, B, C, D are apoproteins. And so plus proteins, phospholipids plus proteins is the composition for the surfactant, and surfactant is being derived from the mineralocorticoids or glucocorticoids. And also let's discuss this. So this dipalmidyl phosphoidol choline is being, the head is being on the surface of the water interface, and on this surface of the and making the cells to be attracted to each other, and they're not letting the cells to go down by making or interlinking between these water molecules, these phospholipids, make it as a layer and decrease the surface tension. So these hydrophobic regions, the hydrophobic regions of DPPM will make the surface tension to be reduced, making the cells or making the air surface molecules to be not in a particular, they're not allowed to go down. So there will be decrease in the pressure, or the collapsing pressure would decrease as the tension is being reduced. So this pressure is reduced, and the collapsing pressure which we need to maintain will also get reduced, and that's the normal functioning of the alveoli. So this is the surfactant, and this is the composition. And now let's go with the clinical correlation of surfactant. So hello guys, the drug to medico is ready for the answer, and let's go for the question first. A newborn is rushed to the neonatal intensive care unit within few minutes of birth. She was born at 38th week of gestation of her, and her mother is having a 10-pack smoking history and a social drinker too. She is having hypertension and also diabetes, and who takes insulin once in a while. And the junior intern in that hospital reported to the doctor that the baby is with a condition called atelectasis, and which he can see from the figure below. And so he wants the complete diagnosis from the doctor. So now let's go for firstly let's see what is atelectasis. Atelectasis is, as I mentioned in the question before, it's the collapsing nature of alveoli. So this collapsing nature of alveoli is due to the increase in the surface tension. So this surface tension increase, the increase in the surface tension would make and this surface tension increase is due to decrease in the surfactant. So now we need to see what are the surfactant decrease in the surfactant, and the diagnosis would be the neonatal respiratory distress syndrome, and this syndrome is also called as the hyaline membrane disease, and this hyaline membrane disease is due to the main cause, or the 70% cases of neonatal respiratory distress syndrome are the premature birth. And this premature birth is 70% of the cases are highly prone to the premature birth. And then the 30%. So first let's see the premature birth. And the 38-week gestation is not at all a premature birth, so it is normal. And now see what is the 30% cases and what are the factors in this. Firstly, we'll see the hypertension. Okay, let's see the hypertension. Yes, we have hypertension. And also let's see the gestational diabetes. So what is this gestational diabetes and how it is linked with the surfactant? And this gestational diabetes is linked with the surfactant production by, we have insulin, and in this insulin, again, this insulin is for the high amount of glucose which is passing through the blood of fetus. So insulin would decrease the production of surfactant. It decreases the production of surfactant. So insulin will decrease the production of surfactant, and in this diabetic patients, we need to have the insulin to make sure the glucose is being utilized in the body. And then we have finally the cesarean. The cesareans do have less cortisol production. So this is why, just because in the normal birth, the vaginal disclosure would put the pressure. Vaginal disclosure would put the pressure on the baby. So this pressure would make release of cortisol in the body. So this cortisol is also used for the production of surfactant. So this cortisol production is very important for the production of surfactant. So normal surfactant is, there is enough surfactant for the product to decrease the surface tension, and when the surface tension is normal, then we have the normal functioning of alveoli. So the neonatal respiratory distress syndrome is the final diagnosis of this patient, and we can see from the x-ray that, yeah, this is the thing. These are the points where the alveoli is getting collapsed. So this is the proper answer for the this question. So and check it out my latest video, which is about the surfactant, which is the respiratory physiology of respiration part 3. So hope you guys like this. Comment. So I hope the answer is very well, and I wish I would make more questions like this and make more content available for you. So Drug 2 Medico is going to be more active these days. So thank you for watching this. Bye.